So when I last tested this Bellum 762 by 39 in my Anderson here, and stated that I would be doing a long range video with this rifle and ammunition, and that's what we're doing today. So I got a big old cheap scope on there. It's brand new. It's a Tasco World Class 6-18 by 50. If I can find such, I'll put a link in the description for that if you want to check that out. But we're going to be taking it out 400 and 500 yards here today, and actually clear at the back is 540. Sometimes it's hard to see stuff back there because of the shadowing, but I'm going to intend to get out to at least 500 a day, hopefully accurately, and that's going to be a little easier from now on because shootsteel.com, they sent me this big old 20-inch gong. They make them even bigger, 24-inch. They also make them square. They even make like a 24 by 30 or something like that, rectangle. So big thanks to them for sending that out to me. Pretty much in all my future centerfire long range videos out there, 400 or 500 yards, that's the plate I'm going to be using. So we get to break it in today. As I said, 7.62 by 39, and we're going to be using this Bellum here because in my testing of what I have, it's the most accurate so far. So pretty nice stuff there. But I'm going to quit yapping. I'm going to get this painted up and get it out there. I'm just going to look up the trajectory and just go hanging out there at 400, see what happens. With that being said, I'm currently zeroed for 100 yards. All right, so there she is. I'm getting 2 shepherd's hooks. I just got to order them because this thing's so heavy. Really, I should be using 2, plus it would hold it straight and all that. So this may end up falling over on us, but I got it decent for now. So, and as I said, we're out here at 400 yards. This is laser rangefinder confirmed 400 yards. So we'll start at 400. I don't know how much we can see from the camera. I'll get my GoPro down here, of course. Hopefully I can see it kicking up dirt if I'm low. I can see back there if I'm high. But I'm going to look at the trajectory, and I'm actually going to try to zero the scope. That way we're not guessing 30 feet over like I typically do. So paint her up white there too. I'm switching from my typical orange to white. A lot of times down here, 400 or 500 yards, I have a hard time seeing where the hits are on that orange. It helps that I have a better scope now too, but I'm thinking it'll be a lot easier to see the hits on this white, especially paired with that 18 power scope. Alright, so I looked it up, and of course it's going to depend on your specific cartridge and load and all that. But typically, if you're zeroed for 100 yards, it says at 400, it's going to be about 60 to 65 inches low. And then to 500, it doubles to 120 some inches low. So that thing is dropping like a rock out there compared to a 5.56, obviously. Anyways, so I will make somewhat necessarily close adjustments on the scope. And so ultimately our first few shots are going to be practice, obviously, because I got to see where it's hitting. But so I'm going to adjust for approximately 60 inches of drop out there at 400 yards. All right. That's interesting. I can see the bright orange from here, but not my white. Although I'm having trouble seeing period. There we go. I mean, it's down there on that 400 mound. I think you can see it there. The orange is easier to see with the naked eye from here, but through the scope, those shots hitting that steel, it should be a lot easier to see with that white background. So, as always, there's not much to see from here, so I'm definitely be splicing in the GoPro footage. Maybe when I get a better camera, I'm anticipating doing such here maybe in the next few months or sooner. We'll be able to zoom in on that from back here at the bench and it not be all pixelated. So you just get to watch me shoot, and your top or bottom right corner there is going to be the target down there at 400 yards. All right, so this is a 1/4 inch click scope, so 400 yards, 1 click should be 1 inch. So I just gave it 60 clicks up there, and we'll see what happens. Again, it's going to depend on the load. It might shoot high, it might shoot low, it just depends. Okay, so it was just high. It was a few inches over the top, slightly to the right. We're only zeroed at 100, so it might be slightly to the right, or I might have just pulled slightly to the right. Either way, we're really close on the first shot, so now I need to drop it down some so we can impact the plate. All right, here we go. Hopefully this will be a hit. Worth mentioning, there is a slight crosswind to the right, so we got that too. Ow. Appeared to be just off to the right side. I'll try one more to confirm. Well, that one I didn't see. I blinked. All right, I'm not seeing the impacts now, but since I seen two off to the right, I believe one for sure was slightly right. I'm going to give it some clicks to the left here, see if it'll bring it onto the plate. All right, we got a hit there off to the left. I'll place a few more. If they keep hitting off to the left, then I know I adjusted too far, and we'll come back a little. That one was just low, but slightly off to the left still. Try a few more. Low left. All right, I got to make a few more adjustments. All right, it looks like we got the height now. We're just still shooting off to the left a little. Let me adjust that. Oh my God. That went right where the crosshair was at. So, got to reload here. Hopefully that means we're zeroed. But I got to take a few more shots to find out. All right, I got 6 more in the mag here. So, hopefully we're golden. You guys should be able to see those because I can. So I missed that one, hit the very right edge. That last one there just went low. I think I got 1 shot left. And that one, that last shot was just low also. So, looks like, now this isn't match grade stuff or anything. It's definitely better than the Wolf and Tula. It shoots much, much more accurately than that stuff. But it looks like we're dealing with the inconsistency now from one shot to the next as far as velocity. You know, if one shot's 50 feet per second slower than the next one, then that's going to affect your point of impact a decent amount with this cartridge, at least out there at 400 yards. So it looks like that's what we are encountering now. It does look like we're averaging on the right side of the target down there, so I'm going to give it one more click to back to the left. And let's take a few more shots down here at 400 before I try 500. But with the consistency I'm getting, the up and down variance where some are hitting dead center on that gong and some are going low, it's probably going to be a little difficult to get hits at 500 because the ammo is just not consistent enough at that range. Also, remember guys, this is a budget AR. This is a $500 Anderson. While I am using this better than Wolf and Tula ammo, it's still not match grade. Also, 7.62x39, technically not that accurate of a cartridge. I think we were shooting, when I reviewed the ammunition, I was doing about 2 MOA or 2.5 MOA, something like that. So, you know, it's pretty average stuff. So, you know, 2 MOA at 400 yards, that's going to be a best of 8, 9, 10-inch group down there. So, with that being said, I'm going to try to choke up on this a little better, do a little better with my trigger discipline. That's the other thing too. This is just a standard mil-spec trigger, which sucks. So we got everything going against us. It's just, but you know, this is just for fun. I just want to see if we can get hits out there 400 or 500 yards with this. So that's what I'm doing. There's one more click back to the left, like I said. So let's see how many we can get on the plate. I'm going to aim just a smidge higher since some of them are going low. I'm going to aim a few inches higher towards the top third of that target. That way, hopefully we get them all on the steel. Okay, so there's 400 yards. Bunch of hits, definitely more hits than misses. Plus, I mean, half my shooting was trying to get the thing zeroed down here on this plate. I did notice I missed at least one off to the right, and I see there's some more on the right there, even after I gave it that one last click back to the left. So I believe that that's just me. If I do pull the shot, I have always tended to pull to the right slightly. So I think it's generally pretty well centered right now. It's just those few on the right, and then that at least one that I missed off to the right. It's just me. So, but that last batch of 10 shots, I was aiming up here, and they're all hitting down here. So previously I was aiming dead center. So I guess it's still a little low at 400, so that explains the low shots. And you can see those back there behind it. Of course, some of those are ones that missed off to the side. So we'll get it back there another 100 yards at 500, and I'm gonna have to give it a bunch more clicks up if it'll even go that far. If not, I'm gonna have to aim over it. But let's get it out 400, or excuse me, 500, and see if we can get some hits on it. Just for a real quick reference here, what I was talking about, this is when I was sighting it in for 100 yards. So this was Tula ammo, 5-shot group at 100, and this is that Bellum. As you can see, it's astronomically better. But what you can all, and this is just over an inch. It's like an inch and a quarter. But what you can see here, you got 2 shots here practically touching, and you got 3 down here touching. And you can see these are higher than these. So that's that inconsistency I was talking about. Even though this is really good ammo, it's still not match grade. So out there, 400 or 500 yards, that 1 inch difference there, that's 4 inches, 5 inches or more at 400 and 500 yards. So even that small difference out there, it's starting to open it up and make a up and down difference of 4 or 5 inches. So, all right, so out at 500 now, if this would focus. Down there on that leftmost mound, it's 500 yards. All right, so I gave it about 30 some more clicks, and I ran out of adjustment. So we are going to have to aim way over the target to hit it. So I'm going to be guessing now. I just barely missed it right there. It was a little on the low side, but it still would hit the plate if I was a little further left. Last one was just low right. I'm still trying to figure it out. Hey, Aaron. That time I hit just off to the left, but the wind keeps changing on me. I think that's why. You know, it's pretty far range for that round, and first it was blowing to the right. Now you can see it's blowing to the left. Somewhere in there it completely stopped, so it's just moving all around on me right now. Looks like that last one was a hit. I know I got a few more too. I keep looking up at this thing. I keep looking up at these because every few seconds it'll stop, then it'll go to the right, then it'll go to the left, so that's really what's going on down there. That's it. So at this point I had shot up all those Bellum rounds that I had brought, but I did have some extra Tula on me. So I went ahead and shot some of those downrange, which you'll see some of that footage here in a second. But out of, what was it, I shot 90 rounds that day of Tula. I had 6 dud primers out of 90. I wanted to point that out because there are a lot of people that's all they buy for their ARs, whether it be 7.62 by 39 or 223 5.56, and that's what they leave loaded up in it for home defense. Absolutely do not trust your life on that cheap steel stuff, Wolf, Tula, any of it. If you have a mag in it for home defense, make sure it's good quality brass that you've tested extensively by firing hundreds of rounds at a minimum to make sure that you don't have any issues with the primers like that. But anyways, here's some extra footage. I was just slinging these things down there because I didn't really expect much because they're not nearly as accurate, and I was surprised, even though I was just slinging them down there rapid fire. I got several hits and the misses weren't very far off, so here's footage of that. Okay, there's all our hits, and as I showed, got a bunch more at the end there with that crappy tool, just slinging them down here. So as I said, I was really fighting the wind. It wasn't particularly strong, maybe 5 miles an hour at most, but it kept changing direction. Sometimes it'd be blowing to the right, sometimes it'd be blowing to the left, and sometimes it would stop completely. So this entire time I was shooting 500 yards, sometimes I was aiming off to the right, sometimes I was aiming off to the left to get all these hits. I kept looking up after every shot or two to see which direction it had changed to adjust accordingly. So if I wasn't dealing with any wind variance like that, I would have had even more hits at 500 yards. And I think that's really saying something, considering it's just a budget AR with a budget scope with a factory mil-spec trigger that has creep for miles and good ammo, but not match grade ammo. Just as an interesting fact, at 500 yards, 7.62x39 is only going about 1,000 feet per second with 300 foot-pounds of energy. So it's basically a 9mm at 500 yards. Now, of course, 7.62x39 is not designed to be shooting this far, really. You know, it's a closer range round. So this is where you would get into using cartridges with much larger, heavier bullets, because these wind variances would not affect such cartridges nearly as much, like a 308, 30-06, 6.5 Creedmoor, 300 Win Mag, things like that with 150, 180, 200, even 250 grain bullets. They're really going to be moved at all at 500 yards in the wind. So if you're shooting something more designed for shooting those ranges and beyond, it'd be much, much easier. Anyways, this was just meant to be a fun video. Always wanted to see if I could get this caliber out to 500 yards, and I did it. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.